thanks very much. I didn't realise I didn't realise it was my turn.
Sorry,
It's a good enough reason to get on.
I like to keep you on your toes.
Aye. It's nice to get up in the morning, but it's better to lie in your bed. This is the Close. The Close is such a seductive place. The Close is a time traveller from slums to yuppies, from the midden to the speak here door, the Macintosh glaze, the razor slash, drinking hooses, all that. Haberdash from Habitat, the Scottish writer's romantic setting for heavy scenes and heavy petting. The Close, oh aye, my ain wee Close. Sitting on the stair, your cellar resident comes out and says, you can't sit there all night, and he's right, it's fucking freezing. A million dark and dingy metaphors, the smell of piss, like the smell of piss, a redundant can of special. What you doing sitting there? You can't drink in here, pal. I know, but the Close is such a seductive place. I've got to be in it. I've got to be in it. Seduction is such a welcoming word, not lonely at all. I wrote some while back. It's called 20 Items in the Nature of Wind. That is the wind you think it is. And haven't actually read this since about maybe 1996 or something. Anyway, they're all numbered from 1 to 20. There is a 19 and a half, so strictly speaking, it should be 21 items in the nature of wind. Anyway, 1. Just a particularly usual morning, wake up, fart, go to the bathroom, sit down to write some usual things, and just be particularly struck on a usual morning with the word fart. Is it poetic enough, that kind of thing, that particularly usual word, fart? 2. Content and form, what can I say? I don't know the answer to what comes first, questions or answers, but then there must be some kind of meaning. Avoid bad puns, that's what I've been told. Forming content and false dichotomies forever. 3. It's just being alive, being gentle, being cruel, trying to keep going and not do too much damage. Who are those who would trespass against us? Is it a question of class, haircuts, styles of dress, or merely the vocal cords, the right to exploit even the thoughts in your head? 4. It's a different approach in a way, sounds, commentaries, performances, but maybe it isn't different, all just process. Best and worst, science and laws, ideas and history, language and ideology. Language. If some folks still want to use iambic pentameter, that's fine. 6. If some folk don't want to use any pentameter, iambic or otherwise, that's fine. 7. If somebody wants to play the sound of a fart through a tape recorder, fine, that's very liberal. Maybe that's not fine, that's fine. 8. Having sat at the table for some time on a cold January morning, it makes sense to go over to the gas fire for a heat. That's fine too, as long as you can pay the bill. 9. Having introduced economics, one is tempted to talk about the economy of language. 10. Having introduced economics, one is tempted to talk about the economics of accent, the economics of accent and colour, the economics of accent and colour, race and freedom of movement, the economics of accent and colour, race and freedom of movement, and what is meant by Fortress Europe. 11. One is tempted to talk about politics. 12. One is tempted to talk about religion. 13. One is not tempted to talk about these things at all, as they aren't supposed to be mentioned in pubs, polite company, or in poetry that emanates from Oxford or Cambridge, though in the case of the last two, it is allowed if done with delicacy. 14. I don't like all this poetry, which takes as its subject matter the writing of poetry. 15. The opposite of 14. 16. Can numbers have opposites? Negative. 17. This is absurd. 18. This is absurd as a statement only to be used by the upper middle class and super rich when referring to existential angst. 19. Existential angst is often experienced by the lower orders when they fart in delicate company or that of their superiors, Of course, they have no conception of what existential angst is, so spend half their lives walking about in a state of deep alienation. 19 and a half, they don't know what alienation means either. 20 is back to the same old questions, from Aristotle to the Romantics, through classicism, neoclassicism, all kinds of movements, aesthetics, values and poetic creeds. It's just so much better to wake up, have a good fart and write, if that's how you feel. That's that now. Poem dedicated to, in my mind, the greatest rocker that ever lived, Alex Harvey, a fellow Glaswegian, called Alex Harvey Was Our Guide. This is not Radio 4, it's a verbal liberation thundering through your door. This is not Radio 3, it's a crazy gladness flying into your tree. This is not Radio 2, it's a sonic transformation heading straight to you. This is alive, a real living space. This is street life, it's a jungle full of grace. This is a man with stockings in his mouth. This is writing on our walls with no need to head south. This is our voice, it's a Glaswegian call. They think it's funny when you fuck up and it's funny when you fall. A cartoon hero with a dignified chant, with a crazy striped t-shirt and a beatific rant. This is Hey Jimmy with a slice of Jacques Brel. It's a theatre of sound you can touch, taste and smell. This is life uncovered as your feet take the floor and you're swimming up a river you did not know you loved before. It's a tree and a fish and a bird and a bell and all that other crap that the tourist shops sell. It's laughter and hope and depression and death. It's a different holy book, it's your heartbeat and your breath. This is where they rob you of your skills and your wealth. This is chain-smoking life, it's inherent ill health. They will call you a nutter, they will call you off your fucking tree. If never the exploiter nor exploited shall ye be. This is radio without wage slaves, this is radio in your head. This is radio anything that you want to say instead. This is not Radio 2, this is not Radio 3, this is not Radio 4. This is not Radio 4. It's a live space, it's a door, it's a wide open door, it's a free and vibrant floor. This is not Radio 4. Wee poem to all of us whose mothers are dead. It's called Often the Rich Complain. Often the rich complain that the poor are living too long. The poor just use up resources that could better be used by the rich. Those unproductive ones who live too long are draining the rich of a slice of their profits. Yet I don't see all the rich queuing to die before their natural time. In reality, quite the reverse. I wept for my wee dying mother, who didn't have time to do all the things that she wanted. All of her life she was poor. All of her life she worked in a job where the air poisoned her body. I did not hear the rich complain about such working conditions, though they were busy aboard their yachts catching suntans and sending out orders. It is always all right for the poor to die this way, but the rich never say, please let me die this way too. Chuck Bukowski. All Chuck Bukowski's deeds, staying called gone, finished through, the whole thing done. Nae wine, nae woman, nae sexist novels, nae poems, nae horses, nae nothing. All bets are off, Chuck. John Lennon's Elba transmits text messages to my brain. Some people live in their cars, they go about with snipers' eyes, they keep their guns in sleeping bags, they're real regular guys. Some folks live in the stars, shining bright with delusion. They got control of their minds right now, but the only way to go is mad. Some folk live in shanty towns, electricity is what they lack. They got no water to cook in, they got whips biting into their backs, but newspapers keep me warm at night and newspapers tell me the truth. And I got a bed of roses, and I got a bed of nails, and I got a bed of concrete and bones. I got a sailboat without any sails. And some folk, they can build their boats, and some folk, they can cook, and others can cure cancer, and some folk, they write books. Sad bastards with Mozart ringtones sit on trains and trances, destroying world peace and quiet is far too quiet, and loud is much too loud, and young is always much too young, and old is already dead, old pure dead, but brilliant old by the way, and middle-aged is totally fucked, and everybody's useless, except Mrs. Greedy and Mr. Lust, the thrusting entrepreneurs. Scream! Wah! I'm on LSN and I'm on Lycos too. I'm on cable, satellite, terrestrial and the brew. I'm on dynamite without the Miz. I'm on ecstasy, I'm on bullets and Trojan horses. I'm on LSD and GHP and horse pills that keep you gouged. I'm on moto-sponsored movies. I'm on Rubik's Cube. I'm on Diners Club and Shrapnel. And I'm on Change for the Bus. And I'm away to get a real job now, tell you, Mahie's totally fucked. Because John Lennon's elbow transmits text messages to my brain. Thanks very much, boys and girls. Next up is Andy Pandy and Little